And we say happy birthday to Hollywood on the day that the Super Bowl turns 21. So we're going to come back and update what happened in the first half. The Denver Broncos leading the New York Giants by a single point. We'll return after these messages from your local stations.
The action doesn't stop when the game's over. When a beautiful starlet takes a fall, Mike Hammer gets fighting mad.
Broke my nose. I don't think so, but we can work on it.
Bernie Coppell guests Wednesday. Then, no matter who wins,
we're looking for a killer.
It's how you play the game.
Afternoon, man.
That really counts.
All right, both barrels.
Outlaws, Saturday on CBS.
Oh, you can depend on it.
Now, it's your play.
This is CBS. Gigantic savings at Whitesides, as low as 3.9% financing, or $500 and $600 rebates on S10 pickups and Blazers. Plus, in addition, you get $750 of options free on S10 Blazers and select S10 pickups. These free options are yours over and above the finance or rebate program. That's a total savings as high as $1,350 or more. Use it as a down payment. Now at Whiteside Chevy Oldsmobile Buick Pontiac. Mall exit St. Clairsville.
Just like you.
When you work on a line crew for the power company, you get called out to handle trouble at night. It's part of the job. As a lineman, people in the community depend on me. As the share owner of American Electric Power, my company depends on me too. That's another way I help keep our future bright.
Our power comes from people just like you.
Wheeling Electric, part of American Electric Power.
This valley will always be home to me. I'm John Havlicek. Besides being a great source of comfort, home is also a great source of credit. The Buckeye Equity Advantage Loan gives you access to the equity you've built up in your home. You can use the cash for whatever you want, and the interest you pay will still be deductible. Buckeye Equity Advantage offers adjustable rates, low fees, and fast closings. Come into the Buckeye for details and tell them Hondo sent you.
Monday on the morning program.
Super Bowl heroes and highlights.
Yay.
5 o'clock now along the Pacific Coast. We're winding up halftime here with the Denver Broncos leading the New York Giants 10-9. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from the first half. The Denver Broncos have been a hot offensive team, even coming into this game. They had scored at the end of regulation. Elway led them to that winning field goal drive. And in the first quarter against that tough Giant defense, quarterback John Elway hit rookie Mark Jackson out of Purdue, and that set up a three-pointer by the Broncos. Phil Simms then hit one of his two tight ends, Zeke Mowatt, for a touchdown, and the Giants took the lead for Bill Parcells, 7-3 after the extra point. A quarterback draw by John Elway, making 4 consecutive scoring drives for the Broncos. But after that, it was the Giant defense against Dan Reeves of the Broncos. First, it was a goal line stand. Then with Elway backing into the end zone, it was defensive lineman George Martin pressuring him for the field goal that has pulled the Giants to within a point. In the first half of the game, the Denver Broncos had 2 missed field goals, 23 and 34 yards by Rich Karlis. So we stand at 10-9. The Broncos leading the Giants by a single point as we get ready to start the second half. Let's check in with our reporters, and let's throw you down to Irv Cross with the New York Giants. Irv?
Brent, a couple of observations of the first half. Those 2 missed kicks you talked about from Rich Karlis. You know, Giant kicker Raul Allegre told me that your depth perception in this stadium is very close. You can stand at the 50-yard line, and the goalposts appear to be at extra point distance. So when you have a short to medium range kick, you appear to be much closer to the goalpost than you actually are. So you must kick the ball down the middle, not to the right or the left, as Karlis did. He kicked to the right, and the ball drifted by because he's further away than he thought. As far as the Giant players themselves are concerned, they came into this locker room drained. I think this heat has really affected them. They haven't played in this kind of weather since September. They're going out now. There's not a whole lot of emotion, but they've got serious looks on their faces. Well,
Irv, I'll tell you, there's an injury report here from the Denver Broncos dressing room, and it's not good for Bronco fans. Tommy Jackson, their fine linebacker, will not play the second half. He went out, but without pads. He had an injury to his right knee in the first half, and it was all iced down. But let me tell you this. The Denver Broncos did not come here down at the half. They weren't crying about the second missed field goal. What they did was get angry. They started yelling going into the locker room. And Rulon Jones set the tone. He says, we got the Giants where we want them right now, and we're going to beat them. And that's the way they walked back out onto the field for the second half. Now to you, Brent.
All right, Will, thank you. Interesting statistic. 186 yards the Broncos accumulated against that Giant defense. The Giant average for a game is only like 187. Let's send you over now to the gentleman who set the scene for the second half. Here's Pat Summerall and John Madden. Pat?
Well, Brent, I think everyone who suspected and talked about this was going to be a blowout. We got a solid, good football game. It's 10-9, as you said. John, how'd you see the first half? How would you review it?
Well, I really think that the Broncos played better than the Giants did the first half. And I think that, you know, it's easy to blame the kicker. I would say that Rich Karlis got down there, he missed 2 field goals, and he did. But still, you know, the first drive, the first one he missed, the Broncos were down on the 1-yard line, first down on the 1, and they didn't get it in. Then they got down to the 5, and they didn't get it in. They had 6 downs to get it in inside the 5, and then they didn't do it, and then Karlis got it there. So I think a combination of Denver playing very well offensively, but not playing well on the goal line, or the Giants playing very well on the goal line.
But for the 2 misses of field goals, it could be 16-9, and we have to go back and look at that safety again and the play that preceded that. That could come back to be a major factor in this game. It's 10-9, Broncos at the half.
It began with a plan and the determination to go for it. General Motors made a commitment to build the highest quality cars in the world. They invested in the future, and now it's paying off. Today, GM brings you the result of 5 years of single-minded, dedicated effort. The best quality, best value GM cars ever built. The best warranty program offered by any American car manufacturer. GM's 6-year, 60,000-mile commitment. The vision is paying off.
I think there are 3 nevers to being a winning coach. Never let the press pick your starting quarterback. Never take a last-place team lightly. And really, no matter what the score, never let them see you sweat.
That's what Dry Idea aerosol is all about. Maximum control. It keeps you drier than the leading aerosol.
Everyone feels pressure. Winners don't let it show.
Dry Idea. Never let them see you sweat.
So you're into statistics, but here's a few you may have missed. Over the last 5 years, cocaine-related deaths have tripled, while deaths involving heroin have more than doubled. Each year, tens of thousands who gamble with drugs pay the ultimate price. If you don't believe these numbers, see for yourself. Because here is where they keep all the final statistics on file.
Sports coverage of Super Bowl 21 is sponsored by Mercedes-Benz. Engineered like no other car in the world. Allstate. For home, auto, and life insurance, you're in good hands with Allstate. And by DuPont. Better things for better living.
It's the NFL on CBS, and it's Super Bowl 21. And it's 10-9 between the Broncos and the Giants, and the Broncos hold at 1-point advantage. And we're in Los Angeles. We've saluted Hollywood. We look at the Rose Bowl, sold out. 105,000 people. And again, anyone who thought this was going to be a dull contest was incorrect. Those views from overhead of Los Angeles itself and the Rose Bowl are from the Slice blimp. Super Bowl history, halftime leads, the average first 20 games. The lead was 10.7 points. Today it's only 1. Lee Roussan and Phil McConkey back deep for the Giants for Karlis kickoff. And it's Roussan outside the 20, outside the 30, out of bounds at about the 37 by Mike Harden.
As Phil Simms comes on, Pat, we looked at, he was also patient in that first half, throwing that shorter stuff. 8 for 8, under 10, 4 for 6, between 10 to 20 yards. So all his completions were in that area. Now, he only threw one in the 20 to 30, and none deeper than that. They were all incomplete. So he's been in that area from the line of scrimmage to the 20-yard line with all his completions.
Morris and Carthon behind Phil Simms for the Giants. And Bobby Johnson goes in motion. And now Morris to the outside.
Go Morris.
A gain of 3 by Steve Foley.
Pat, we talked about how they moved Carl Mecklenburg around, number 77. Look how he did it in the first half. Well, look where he lined up. He lined up in 7 different positions. Joe Collier, the defense coordinator, tries to put him where he thinks they're going to run. And look at this distribution all the way across the line. Most of them he lined up 7 times on the left side.
2nd and 7. Roussan is split out wide to the right. Mecklenburg stayed in the middle that time, and now retreats in coverage, and Simms gets it outside to Maurice Carthon. Outside the 40, about the 43, a gain of 4, stopped by Andre Townsend.
Yeah, we talk about distractions. We were talking about it at halftime, and everyone talks about the distractions of the Super Bowl. I think one of those distractions, and one of the tough things, is the long halftime. You're used to going in there, just talking a little, boom, coming right and back out. Now, this halftime is double the length of normal.
3rd down and 3. The ball's at the Giant 44. Joe Morris. The handoff from Simms. Going for the first down, and he won't get it.
Go Morris.
Lewis Wright, the first man up there, the veteran who has played and played so well for so long. They keep saying number 20 is going to slow down, but he hasn't.
Well, that's the thing that they said they had to do, is they had to stop Joe Morris, offensively number 20. So Louis Wright, defensively number 20, does it. As you said, he's been in the league 12 years. Now, that's a long time for Louis Wright, for anyone, but especially when you're playing cornerback.
2 feet short. Landetta already on the scene looking at things. Will Height goes back for Denver. The Broncos lead at 10-9. Is 1 punt return, 9 yards.
It's funny, the Giants came out in the first half, and I think that was a better approach. They came out, we're going to throw. We're going to loosen you up. We're going to attack you. And they come out in the second half, and they're going to run.
Look out, Rutledge.
This could be a fake punt. It's a trick.
Rutledge with a long count, hoping they'll jump offside. Now Godfrey is the center.
They only need less than a yard, and he can run an option.
Rutledge, the quarterback. Rutledge, the quarterback, runs for the first down. Nobody jumped offside, but it worked.
Did you see the smile on Bill Parcells' face? Those are gutsy calls. You go for it on 4th down. Everyone wants you to go for it when you're a coach. But then when you do go for it, that takes a lot of guts to call it. It's easy to put in, hard to call. Jeff Rutledge, they get a double team on the nose tackle, and Rutledge just runs right to the right.
They got the first down.
Look at the smile on Parcells. I had the guts to go for it. You guys had the talent to do it. Which is more important?
They both are important. Rutledge, who did the quarterback sneak, got the first down. Giants at their own 47. Now with the regular offensive setup back in there. Simms back to throw. Up out of the pocket. Off to Morris. Or to McConkey. It was Morris. Mecklenburg got him down for a gain of 12.
Joe Morris is really known as a runner. I mean, he's more of a running back. He's really not a blocker. He really hasn't been a receiver. He said that for him to be a complete back, he said he'd like to be a better blocker and a better receiver. He said he's really not. He said, I'm not really a halfback. I'm just a running back. That's all I am.
Can't block when you carry the ball all the time. Roussan has replaced him now. He's back there with Maurice Carthon. Sims back to throw. Got some time. Down the middle, Roussan. Inside the Bronco 20.
Okay, that pass pattern has been amazing for the Giants. It's what they call a seam pass against the zone. What they do is they put a wide receiver down here, a back down this seam. If the safety goes over here, they hit here. I want you to just get two guys streaking down the field together. You see the outside receiver go and the halfback. You see him now, that puts a bind on that safety. If he goes back, he hits Roussan. If he goes over, he hits Roussan. If he stays, he can get the outside guy.
First down, Giants at the Denver 17. Morris again. Around the corner. Inside the 15, about the 13. Hit first by Ryan. A gain of 3.
Did you see Dennis Smith come flying in there, number 49? Watch him right there. Carthon's going to block him. Watch Carthon go down, upend Dennis Smith. That play could have been a 5-yard loss if he makes a tackle. Good block by Maurice Carthon.
Gain of 3, second and 7. Giants at the Denver 14. Bobby Johnson and Lionel Manuel both split wide to the left. Sims looking in that direction and now to the right. Complete to Carthon. Knocked out of bounds at about the 14 by Wright. A gain of only 1.
You were talking about Louis Wright being a 12-year veteran playing corner. Dan Reeves was telling us that he thought one of the best games he had was against Cleveland. 12 years, one of the best games he had tackling and playing the run was just 2 weeks ago. That's amazing that a guy can run fast enough for that many years to be a cornerback.
3rd and 6. Galbraith in the backfield with Sims. McConkey on the move. Sims to Bavaro, touchdown.
The guy never says anything, Mark Bavaro. He hardly ever smiles, but I think we caught a smile on that one. Watch him. He started from a 2-point stance. He gave Dennis Smith a little push to the outside, then he went inside.
Allegre will try the extra point with Rutledge holding.
Hey, you go back on that play and you give credit Sims throwing the ball to Bavaro. You also have to give credit to Bill Parcells for calling a 4th down run.
Back in his own territory.
Today, he's done an outstanding job, not only this year, but ever since he's been there, building a team.
Putting this package together.
Gary Markwright didn't turn his mic on or it didn't work. You got to hit it.
There's Phil Sims, who threw the touchdown pass to Bavaro. His first touchdown pass went to the other tight end, Zeke Mowatt. Allegre's extra point is right down the middle. 16-10. Giants lead. The touchdown coming up. We have 10:08 left in the 3rd quarter. Sims to Bavaro.
Ours, as you know, is not a perfect world. May I? That's why it's so refreshing when something really perfect comes along. Like Diet Coke. Tastes great straight or on the rocks. Yet it's just 1 calorie. That's why Diet Coke is the perfect soft drink. For an imperfect world.
Just for the taste of it. Diet Coke.
It was the ultimate
test of endurance, equivalent to more than a lap around the world in 8.5 days. This Mercedes-Benz traveled 31,000 miles, averaging over 154 miles per hour, stopping only seconds at a time for fuel and fresh drivers. Indeed, only seconds were needed, because during the entire trip, not a single mechanical failure occurred. High performance is exciting. High performance and reliability is Mercedes-Benz.
At Sheraton, we know that little things mean a lot. That's why just one number gets you reservations at any Sheraton in the U.S. or 63 countries worldwide.
Beginning March 1st on CBS, people who go against me pay a price. You feel the fury. Now, see who it destroys. Judith Kranz's I'll Take Manhattan.
From the Slice Blimp, the sold-out Rose Bowl, Super Bowl number 21. The Giants have recaptured the lead. Their scoring drive, 9 plays, 63 yards. Sims, a touchdown pass to Bavaro, and Phil was 5 out of 5 on that drive. Allegre to kick it off. He'll kick off from the 40. And again, they're out to check on, as John Madden said a minute ago, Mark Bright's mic is not working. Back to the touchdown.
Let's watch the touchdown. See, they line up 2 receivers here. This is Bavaro here. But they want to get some movement, so they come in motion. Now Bavaro and McConkey are going to run down here. They get a kind of a big mess here. Bavaro breaks out of it and in here for a touchdown. They start 2 receivers on this side, 2 on that side. Now they have 3 on that side. And then you see right there, if we can stop it there, you see that they got him. They got him to the outside and to the inside, and Bavaro broke into the end zone.
Allegre kicks off from the 40, kicks it out of the end zone. Denver was offsides on the extra point. That's why he did it from the 40. But there's a flag down back from where he kicked, back at the 40. Allegre going back out for his tee. Giants offside. They'll do it again.
Well, that'll even it up. As you said, the Broncos were offside down there on the extra point. So then they got to kick 5 yards closer. You know, Allegre is down there, Pat. I don't know if he's doing an exercise or... You know, it looked like after the extra point that he limped a little bit. And he looked like he's trying to stretch out his leg.
Yeah.
Watch the extra point. It looked like here that he could have twisted something there. Because when he starts to walk off, looks like he's favoring it. You see there? And then when he kicked off, he kicked it into the end zone, but he went down and started doing exercise.
Stretching again, yeah. Now he'll back up to the 35. Denver will have Lang and Bell back deep. Allegre lost his advantage.
You know, with all that paint there on that 35-yard line, he's trying to find a good place. See, that'll hold that T square. Because they have all the paint and stuff and aberrations.
Kick off to Lang. He takes it at the 1. They would have been better off to take it like it was. They would have headed it at the 20. Byron Hunt and Tom Flynn down to make the stop. Elway.
You know, here's the Elway distance throw. We see it was 10 for 14, under 10 yards. That's the patience part we talked about. 1 for 4 in the 10 to 20, and 20 to 30, 1 for 1. None there, and then over 40. Now those 2 long ones, over 20 and over 40, were both those scramble plays. That's where he gets his big plays and his deep passes.
1st and 10 Broncos from their own 14. Giants 16-10 leader. Pass deflected. Looking for Vance Johnson. But someone knocked it away.
You see John Elway? He did a twirl on that one before he threw it. Watch him. He's going to spin right around. You see him? He goes all the way around then he comes back. It did affect the linebacker. You see the linebackers start to come that way? Then he tried to throw the shot in there.
It was George Martin who got the hand up and knocked it away. 2nd and 10. Denver's at their own 14. Elway back again. Under pressure. One-handed catch by Vance Johnson. A gain of only 5, but that's remarkable. And he gets up slowly.
Hey, Dan Reeves is upset about something. I think it was that hit right there on Vance Johnson by Harry Carson. I think Dan Reeves thought it was late. Johnson makes the tackle, or the catch, and he's down. Then Carson does come in there a little late.
And they help Johnson off. 16-10 Giants over Denver.
Take me back where I belong. Take me where it's safe and warm.
The Goodyear Vector is the all-season radial that pumps water away to keep more tire tread on the road. And for some, that's a comforting thought.
Take me home. Goodyear, take me home. Never matters how far I go. Goodyear, take me home.
You know, Jerry, you're a terrific husband and a super salesman.
Hey, Beth, what is this?
A financial genius. You're not.
Very few of us are. We can help. At New York Life, we have the resources to make the most of your resources. We offer a range of financial opportunities, including mutual funds, universal life, and limited partnerships. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Get the most out of life with New York Life.
I've tried it. Now I believe it. Denerex Tingles tells me it's doing more. Head and Shoulders, no tingle.
Both have dandruff medicine, but Denerex adds both an extra anti-itch medicine and conditioner, too.
Goodbye, Head and Shoulders. Hello, Denerex.
If you swallow a cold pill for your stuffed nose, you have to wait for it to travel all through your body before it gets to your nose. But Tristan Nasal Spray gives you fast relief right on the nose.
Join us at Pebble Beach, where the pros are stars and the stars play like pros. Another 8.
Here's why Dan Reeves was so upset.
See, Vance Johnson is down, and then Harry Carson comes and gets him while he's down. And watch what Reeves had to say. I think he was right.
3rd and 5. 9:22 left, 3rd quarter. Giants ahead by 6, and Elway retreats. Elway, incomplete. Wilhite, the intended receiver. And Horan will come on. Banks was the defender closest.
And John Elway is the guy that's going to have to do it for the Broncos. Remember the first play of the game, Elway ran for 10 yards. Since then, they've ran 11 times, and they've only gained 4 yards. So if they're going to do it, it has to be with the pass and with Elway.
Phil McConkey back deep for the Giants. His punt returns on the year. And Horan back to kick, left-footed. This is one of the areas where Dan Reeves thinks the Broncos have drastically improved since the first of the year. Punt. Good kick. McConkey, no fair catch. At his own 39. With room. McConkey gets it into Denver territory to about the 36 before he's stopped by Woodard. A 42-yard punt, a 17-yard return.
You don't think Phil McConkey is an exciting guy and an excitable guy and has that contagious effect on the rest of the guys? Watch him. He'll return a punt, then he'll go over and pick up a towel and start rooting. Hey, he's a tough guy. Watch him here. He starts the thing, waits, let a blocker come up, then take it right up the middle. He stays fired up.
He really does. The ex-helicopter pilot in the Navy still thinks he's flying. 1st and 10 Giants from the Denver 36, and it's Morris. Morris over the middle inside the Denver 30. Stopped by Ryan, but a gain of 7. Oates with a good block up front.
Well, the other, you know what happened is they got a kick out on Dennis Smith. Dennis Smith, the strong safety of the Broncos, is getting up in the backfield, but they're making good blocks on him. Now watch here. The ball's going to go to the left here. Now watch, you see the center, Bart Oates, is going to come and lead. And see right there, he gets Dennis Smith. Smith was there, but he gets blocked and doesn't make the play.
Morris again. Stopped this time by Hundley. A loss of 1 or 2. Bill Belichick, their defensive coordinator, over on the bench. Again, riding upside down. Third on the Denver bench.
Well, that's the offense there. That's Billy Bryan, the center. Usually the center makes most of the calls for the offensive line. That's why the coaches talk to the center. He's the guy that has to call the defense and then call the blocking that they're going to use.
3rd and 5. That's Tom Flynn that the trainers are looking at over on the Giants sideline. That's Manuel in motion. And the handoff is to Morris. 1st down and more. Steve Wilson on a stop, a gain of 9. That's what they thought they could do. Run wide on 3rd down.
Well, that's what they were talking about, is they wanted to start, and they wanted to start passing, loosen up this defense, and then come back and then run later in the game with Joe Morris. And that's exactly what they were doing. They opened up early, threw the ball, got this Bronco defense, and now they give him a dose of the running back.
Morris comes out, 58 yards and 13 carries. Roussan in his place. They run it this time with Roussan. Woodard on the stop.
Yeah, I tell you, this is a big secret to this Giant offense, or the success, is averaging 6.8 on 1st down. Now that means that you're coming up and you're second and short. You're 2nd and 4 or 5, and then you can end up 3rd and short yardage. You can go for it on 4th. Everything is in your flow.
2nd and 9. Sims back to throw. Again has time. To Manuel. Stopped by Louis Wright. Close to a 1st down.
The Giant offense wanted to give the Bronco defense a lot of movement because they like to change their defenses and shift. So they figured they'd let them get up there and then they'd give them a lot of motion. Just like Lionel Manuel came in motion that time and got that play. That's a plan the Giants wanted to do to the Broncos all day.
This guy, Manuel, although he hasn't been the most publicized individual this week, adds another element to the Giant offense and adds a 1st down.
Well, at practice on Wednesday, they said that was probably the best day of practice that Lionel Manuel had all year.
1st and 10 Giants at the Bronco 12. Giants leading 16-10. Clock running with 5:50 left, 3rd quarter. Carthon. The ball carrier. Right side, 2 perhaps. Stopped by Jim Ryan again. And Mecklenburg.
I think when I had a run down here in a running situation, I think I'd try and get the ball to Joe Morris. I mean, he's been the guy that's been there all year and being able to get those 1st downs and those big plays and those touchdowns for me. And I think if I had a 1st down run, I'd give it to him.
2nd and 8. They're at the 10. I think you're going to get your voice right here, or your thought. Oh, Sims is going to throw. Sims is going to run. At the 5, Ricky Hundley and Woodard. But Sims got 5.
See him get up there and smile. They don't like to do this a lot. In fact, Joe Collier said Bill Sims hasn't run much this year. He said he used to run a lot more. He said, well, what the heck? It's a Super Bowl. It's the last game of the year. We expect that he'll run with the ball.
He'll take off. I don't know if that's a smile or a grimace.
It started as a smile and turned into a grimace, like one of those headaches that you get up there. Migraine.
Yeah, well, I don't think that's a migraine. I think that's a contact.
It happens to do that, you know, and it just stays up in there with you.
4:42 left. Giants, after Sims scrambled, took a timeout. Their bench and their fans are on the near sideline, and that's the noise that you hear right now.
Well, I think you're right. You know, when he scrambled and he got the cobweb in his head, I think that was a smart thing. You know, take the timeout, let him get everything back together again, because what you have is a third down play coming up, and you don't want a woozy quarterback doing that.
3rd and 3. The Giants are at the Bronco 5.
There's Carl Nelson, and that looks like a tackle. See, you got that sweat going down there. There's wet. You rub off a little. You got that thing hanging off the nose there. Hair's all messed up. Joe Morris, he got the sweat going. Now, that was one of the things Bill Parcells was worried about, and I think the worry is, you know, about the conditioning and the guys being able to go for 4 quarters. I think if it is going to be a problem, it's going to start now. It's going to be a 4th quarter problem.
It has started, obviously, because the sun has gone away, to be a lot cooler than when we began. It was 77 degrees when the game started. Now, that's not as much of a factor. 3rd down and 3, the ball at the 5. It's Morris and Carthon behind Sims. It's Manuel in motion. It's to Morris. He won't get the first down. He got only 1 yard. Rulon Jones was the first man to make contact. Now let's see about Allegre, who was perhaps injured before, but look at the play first.
Well, see, that's that counter play, the counter tray, where you Morris takes a step to the right, then gets his right guard and tackle pulling, tries to get in behind him, but he cut away from him.
So Allegre, who appeared to have some sort of maybe a pull or some kind of an aggravation when he kicked the last extra point and then kicked off, is back in the game and will try from 21 yards out. Now he seems okay, and the kick is okay. With 3:54 left to play in the 3rd quarter, the Giants 19, Denver 10.
Late one night, when all the families and all the houses all across the land were fast asleep, all of their old family cars were taken away. In their places were left shiny new Honda Accords. And they all drove happily ever after.
Kellogg's Corn Flakes is America's cereal, pure and simple. They're light, they're crispy, they're full of flavor, they're nutty kind of crispy, real good stuff.
Man, I get into it. I get me a big bowl of them.
Kellogg's is the original Corn Flakes. Nothing comes close.
I think it has a nostalgia quality to it, like an old rock and roll record. It's one of the last of the best. What else can you say about it?
Corn Flakes from Kellogg's. It's what cereal is all about.
It was so simple. Really, a direct electrical charge here heats up the carbonized filament here, which in turn excites the gases trapped in here, and
oh, well, it's very nice, Thomas, but I wanted a Bud Light.
If you want the great taste of Bud Light, ask for it.
Don't feel bad, Thomas. It's not a complete loss.
Bud Light, because everything else is just a light.
Behind the headlines, the hard work, the heartache, and the heat. Tonight, after Super Bowl 21, it's Hard Copy.
A lot of blimps in the area, including the Goodyear blimp. Super Bowl 21, looking down at the Rose Bowl. What a sight, what a sight. Allegre kicks off, line shot, kickoff, sails into the end zone to Lang, gets away from him, and they'll down it there. We talked about it at the half, John. There's Dan Reeves, of course, the Broncos coach. about what happens once you get inside the 20. If you come away from there with nothing or with whatever.
Well, we'll see what happens. Both teams have been inside the 20, inside the opponent's 20 3 times. But the Broncos only have 7 points, and the Giants got 17 points out of it when they were in there.
Elway and the Broncos with 3:46 left, third quarter. Take over from their own 20. Will Height is the lone setback. Banks broke free. Elway got away from it. Pass incomplete. Steve Watson, the intended receiver. Nobody blocked Banks, but John Elway, a tremendous athlete, got away from him.
Banks is looking up there. He's looking up at the replay to see if they would show what he did wrong so he could correct it. They knew that. They knew that Elway was not only a scrambler, but he was hard to tackle. In fact, the last time they played, Lawrence Taylor had him 3 times, and Elway got away from him.
Out of his last 11, Elway has completed only 3. Watson wide right. Screen pass, Will Height. Will Height to about the 27-28, tracked down by Leonard Marshall and Elvis Patterson. Kubiak giving the signals to Elway. Denver comebacks, the last 4 wins of '86. That's what happened. That's where they trailed. And that's what they did. So don't count them out. 3rd and 3 with 3 minutes left to play, third quarter. Incomplete. Clarence Kay was the intended receiver. Banks, the defender.
I'll tell you, that was a great play by Carl Banks. It was a 3rd down. Watch here, right at the bottom of the thing. There's 58 going against Mobley. Watch how he hits him. Mobley is trying to use the official there. Mobley goes in front of him. Banks goes behind him and still knocks the ball down.
Mobley saying, hey, look, this guy was on my back.
No, that was great pass defense. That was a heck of a play by Carl Banks. And Mobley tried to use the umpire, and they just sandwiched the old umpire.
Moran back to punt, and McConkey back deep for the Giants. He set him up the last time with that good return. Good kick this time. McConkey fair catch. Makes it at his own 32. The ball was up there for 5 seconds. So with 2:38 left to play in the third quarter, it's the Giants 19, the Broncos 10.
I don't know. You can't drive at night anymore. Did you know that? Mom told me that. I mean, that's really nothing.
I know. I know.
I mean, 5 years, 7 years from now, what happens then? He won't ask us. Even if he needs our help, he won't ask us. So we've got to do something. We're the ones, you know.
Budweiser, proud sponsor of the Stars and Stripes, salutes Dennis Conner and his crew as they sail for the America's Cup.
You make America work, and this one's for you.
The tax laws are changing. The deductions on interest are changing. So maybe you should apply for a card that doesn't charge interest, the American Express card. Apply now. Just look for this display.
Gosh, Clark, we've got to get back to the office and call London before the meeting's over. Taxi!
With the AT&T card, your people have the power to handle business better.
Taxi! Taxi!
From anywhere to anywhere.
Come on, Clark.
It's okay, Lo. Everything's taken care of.
You always disappear in an emergency.
Order the AT&T card. It gives your people enormous abilities.
At at the Rose Bowl. The Giants 19, the Broncos 10. The crowd today, 101,643. Fourth largest in history. Giants by 9. First and 10 at their own 32. Bavaro again moves over and sets down on the right side.
At running back.
Morris.
Joe Morris.
A gain of 1. Ricky Hundley on the bottom of the pile. Here is another thing that we talked with Bill Parcells about. And he said one of the things that the Broncos do best is strip the ball out of there. They practice that.
And you know, when you're down 19 to 10, now you really want it because there hasn't been a turnover yet in the game. And that's the thing that the Bronco defense has to go with. Make something happen. Get the ball back to the offense and hopefully in good field position.
Second and 8. Sims quickly outside. Manuel. Past the 50. Covered by Dennis Smith. Super Bowl number 21 live at the Rose Bowl on CBS. And that's the situation right now. The Giants 19, Denver 10, 1:55 left third quarter. Sims has thrown 2 touchdown passes. George Martin tackled Elway for a safety. That pretty well covers what the scoring has been about. Again, Bavaro moves from left to right. Kamara.
Joe Morris.
To about the 46, Ricky Hundley on the tackle. Lawrence Taylor, Carl Banks, George Martin over on the Giants sideline. Still work to do over on the other side of the field. More work to do. Second and 6. Sims is 7 of 7 this half. To work again. Here's one of the wrinkles. Going deep for Bobby Johnson. Phil McConkey now. McConkey head over heels at about the 1 or 2 yard line. A gain of 44.
And that's the celebration. Phil McConkey wanted a Super Bowl touchdown. He said it's a great play. We're going to get the touchdown. But I want it when it goes down in the record. McConkey scored a touchdown. That was off the flea flicker. That excites him. Watch him here. Sims is going to hand off, pitch out to Joe Morris. He spins, turns around back to Sims. McConkey is coming all the way across the field. He catches it wide open. Now he sees that end zone. Make a fake, make a do, make a flop. But he didn't get in the end zone.
It was a good move, though.
Oh, it's a flop. Look.
First and goal at the 1. And it's Morris. Touchdown, Giants. Four seconds left in the third quarter, and Bill Parcells wants no early celebrating.
That's right. He told his defense, you got to stay fired up. You got to get it back.
Rutledge holding for Allegre.
Hey, on that touchdown to Joe Morris, Chris Godfrey, the right guard, made a nice block. Watch him. He's going to get Dennis Smith. Watch 61 right there. See him pull him out, pulling out. Here comes Morrison behind him. Watch him right there. He gets the outside man, and Morris can get right into the end zone.
24 seconds then left in the third quarter. And the Giants increased their lead to 26 to 10. Sims, 20 out of 23, 226 yards and 2 touchdowns. And another one had set up the third.
I felt for a long time that Phil Sims was maybe the most underrated quarterback in the NFL. And I think this year at the end of the season. And this game, he's proven it.
When you got a quarter to go and plus 24 seconds, it's hard not to smile.
Yeah, but you still have to play that last quarter, and you still have to play defense. And those are the guys that are fired up anyway, and they're firing each other up.
Allegre's kickoff into the end zone deep again, and Denver will start from their own 20. 19 seconds left in the third quarter. Nose tackle Greg Cregan. And the Giant fans, at least, are starting to sing. Elway flushed out of the pocket, but chased down by Marshall. The third sack of Elway. Marshall's second.
You see Lawrence Taylor celebrate over there? It looked like John Elway dropped the ball.
He did.
I thought so. He started to go back. He felt Marshall coming from his left. Lawrence Taylor was coming in there. Watch him here. He has the ball. He feels that pressure from the left. He tries to step up. He had pressure from both sides. No, I think George Martin knocked the ball out of his hand. Bounced up. And then Marshall got it. And then Lawrence Taylor celebrated. I didn't get him, but watch this one. Oh, somersault. Up and down. Piston. Flop.
That's the end of the third quarter with the score. The Giants 26, the Broncos 10. And we now pause for a word from your local station.
This is CBS.
When people in Florida go to work, they do 1,000 different jobs. Jobs you don't see in other places. Now, most bankers may not care about that, but we do. We've built our bank around Florida and the way her people work. We're First Florida Bank, and Florida is our middle name.
That the bigger your ad is, the more it gets noticed. But when people see a big ad in the official GTE Yellow Pages, they see it all year long.
Getting the weather forecast, getting one you can depend on. There's one name that comes to mind more than any other. Roy Leap and the Pulse 13 Weather Center, the largest television weather operation in America. This is the team that pioneered the use of radar, satellite imagery, and computer weather graphics for television. The only team in town with 6 meteorologists. It's the team you depend on 7 days a week for the most accurate weather forecast possible. Pulse 13 Weather, from the station where news comes first.
The Pulse 13 News Hour, the original.
CBS Sports coverage of Super Bowl 21 is sponsored by Bud Light. Everything else is just a light. The Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company. No matter how far you go, Goodyear takes you home. And by Unicef.
Denver ball. Second down. Flag down. Elway chased into the end zone after being sacked the previous play by Marshall. Just to give you an idea of how the Giants dominated the third quarter, they had 163 yards. Denver had 2.
Number 76. Second down.
Lanier, the violator.
Of course, we'll watch. It's down here in the bottom. You see, I think Lawrence Taylor causes a lot of penalty. You see guys jump before the ball is snapped. 56 causes a lot of that because the guy knows he's so quick, he's so strong, that you have to be ready. You have to be set when he comes, so they set a little before he comes.
Second down and 25. Elway standing right on the goal line, right on his own end zone line. He retreats into his end zone. Pass picked off by Elvis Patterson. Stopped by Watson. Flags come flying. But the Giants will have possession. The first turnover today.
You know, that's the trouble with that patience thing, that short passing game. You can stay patient, but when you're down 26 to 10, you have to start making things happen. You have to force things. Then when you force it, that's what this Giant defense does. They pick it off. They make you make mistakes when you start to force.
Jerry Markbright, the referee. The Giants had 9 first downs in the third quarter. Denver had none.
Number 23, on the second time, first down.
Terry Williams, Jerry Markbright, has had problems with his microphone all day. That's not ours.
But watch, we see what happens here. Elway has to get rid of the ball. He has pressure there. He's forcing it into that deep zone that we've been talking about. They get a big rush. Then the secondary just drops off, makes you force it, then they start to pick things off like Elvis Patterson just did.
So the Giants take over first and 10 at their own 48. Sims gives to Morris, hit behind the line of scrimmage.
Joe Morris, the ball carrier.
By Rulon Jones.
That's Rulon Jones. He's the second man in, 75. He starts in and he gets on Billy Ard, takes him on, pushes him to the side, and then gets in the backfield. Now, Morris was running a little delay there. That's why he hadn't been in the hole yet.
Amazing thing about, well, Rulon Jones and most of the Denver linemen, they're not that big, but you never seem to get a clean shot at them.
And they don't stay blocked either. You get a shot, then they bounce off, and they go running after you again.
Sims drops. Stacy Robinson, 20, 16. First down, Giants, they're moving.
You see the end of that play, Carl Mecklenburg came flying through that screen and tried to knock the ball out of Stacy Robinson's hand. Bill Sims throws some shot here. Good pass protection. See, he has a little gap there so he can step up, get a little more time, find Robinson outside. Now watch right at the end. Watch 77 come flying at him. Right there. They had a nice move after he caught it. You see, it was more of just stopping and then starting more than it was faking.
Looked sort of casual, didn't it?
Yeah, like it was out in the park, you know, on Sunday afternoon. Here, throw me one. I'll stop.
Here at the 16, Morris, right side. To the 15, Ricky Hundley. Morris got 2. Hundley was the first Bronco there.
I'll tell you one thing, this Bronco defense does go after you. They do get a lot of players at the point of attack, and watch when they get there.
You hear everybody say when you talk to teams about Joe Morris, you can't arm tackling.
Well, you know, it goes back to that physics thing again. I got a lot of letters about, what power is and the formula and all, but in all the letters, one thing I say is he has a low center of gravity, and that's why he has so much power.
Second and 9, Sims going. Going to be a flag in the end zone. Intended Bavaro. Louis Wright, the defender. Bavaro stays down momentarily, but he'll be back.
That should be more than a flag. That should be an arrest. That wasn't even close. Louis Wright knew that he was beaten, knew it was going to be a touchdown, so he just jumped all over Mark Bavaro. Watch him, he is beaten. Bavaro's behind him. Bavaro's going for the touchdown. Wright knows that he can't do that, so he just jumps on him, grabs head, neck, helmet, face mask, turns him over and everything. So what the heck? You ought to be, there ought to be a citation, like a ticket for a deal like that.
First and goal on the 1. Morris again. Not in. Ricky Hundley, number 98 again. With Louis Wright, no gain. 2nd and goal at the 1.
Hey, it was close at halftime, but in the 3rd quarter is where the Giants took over this game. In fact, look what happened since they went in the locker room. The Giants came out and had 200 yards of offense to Denver's 2. Whatever they did in there in those locker rooms at halftime, the Giants did it the right way, and the Broncos had a little trouble with it.
2nd and goal then at the 1. Giants 26, Broncos 10. The eyes and the intensity of Joe Morris. Carthon was the man on the move. Sims has to duck under it and take the sack. Pushed by Freddie Gilbert first. And that's the first sack of Sims.
There's a fight down there. They're still going after it. Guys are hooked up there.
Ricky Hundley.
Here's Joe Morris.
3rd and goal.
Hundley had Morris, so he took him all the way, even when the play was over.
Wonder how physics would work on that.
Well, then it's low. See, Morris is still looking at him. And what do you want? Physics works. You see, that's the center of gravity. That's what I was talking about.
Right.
You know, you get the speed and the time and all that stuff, and then right on top of the picture, you're going to see it. See, you see Oates there. You see some little kick in there. Morris wasn't even in on it. It was Oates and Hundley, and then Morris walked in.
3rd. Then there's McConkey's touchdown. Look at Bavaro. He handles him like he's a rag doll. Keeping this ball.
He's not going to fumble it either. Look how he's protecting it. You don't know what kind of hits you're going to get in celebration. So he look, he has both arms wrapped around it. And he grips it tightly to his body. He's not going to fumble this one. You can't have this one.
Allegre for the extra point. Rutledge holding. Trying to make it 33-10. Flag down. The Broncos jumped off sides. I'm sure it'll be declined or maybe enforced on the kickoff.
There's Phil Sims. That's before the touchdown. That was calling the cadence. I think he's throwing it to Mark Bavaro.
He is.
He is. It hit Bavaro right in the face. And then McConkey came off with it. He was watching Bavaro all the way.
What a guy to get the rebound.
He'll take credit for it. As a head coach, you take credit for those that bounce off the helmet into the hand.
You have to, don't you?
Yeah.
10:56 then left to play. 33-10 Giants.
Nowadays, when it comes to telecommunications, there's a great deal of confusion. With so many different products and services available, it's a real problem knowing what's just right for your company. Well, we have a way to end that confusion and solve those problems. We can help custom tailor an entire telecommunications system to your company's exact needs. No, GTE.
No battery outruns the Energizer.
It's time to change your light bulb. Philips Longer Life Square bulbs last 33% longer than ordinary round bulbs.
Leave it to the good hands, people.
Last year, Allstate paid to repair or rebuild over 600,000 homes.
Leave it to the good hands, people.
And over 1 million cars. All told, we spent over $20 million a day restoring the important things in our customers' lives.
Leave it to us to help protect what's important to you.
Your hopes and schemes, your plans and dreams. Leave it to the good hands, people. You're in
member of the Sears Financial Network.
Wednesday, a case of murder.
He'd been stabbed.
And Tommy Lee Jones is the priest who would risk all that he held sacred.
You really want to know me?
I'll risk it. Broken vows.
Back at the Rose Bowl. The penalty was enforced. The Broncos offside. So Allegre will kick from the 40 in the direction of Gene Lang and Ken Bell. 33-10. Hit one of the Broncos on the foot. The Giants are down in mass. I don't know who came up with it. Hit Bell in the foot. The Broncos did. Phil McConkey. His touchdown he wanted so dearly.
Let's watch it here. We'll see Bavaro is here. McConkey's here. Bavaro gets bumped and goes in here. McConkey follows him like he's his little brother. Just horse around here, and then he gets the garbage off the tip. Watch him. There he goes. Watch that hit there on Bavaro. McConkey just following him in there. See, it's just nice to be hanging around him. Look what he comes up with. Touchdown.
When things are going right, they go right. Here's Elway. Gets it outside to Vance Johnson. That should be enough for a first down in Denver.
There's Sims after the touchdown. He wanted to celebrate with one of his guys, and he ended up celebrating with Dennis Smith. And then he just celebrated by himself. Then he found a guy. There's one of his guys.
Benson.
Brad Benson.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of best friends. They even lift weights together. Benson, Sims.
Burt. Here's Elway again. Screen pass, middle screen this time to Wilson. Stopped by Banks again, but a gain of 5. 33-10. The Giants over the Broncos.
I think over the long run, Carl Banks is going to be the best player in this Giant defense. I think he's going to be there for a long time. I mean, he can do it all. I mean, he can cover, he can run, he can tackle, he can do everything. And we were talking to Bill Belichick. He said he's also the hardest working of all our players.
Here's Elway out of the pocket, gets it upfield, complete. Mark Jackson this time. And now he gets up limping.
Hey, those receivers of the Broncos have really taken a beating. Remember, Vance Johnson got it by Harry Carson after he caught one. Mark Jackson just looked like he got it then.
9:40 left to play. Giants leading 33-10. But Elway is always dangerous. Will Height, the receiver, right at midfield, a gain of 5. Greg Lasker to make the stop.
But they have to do it all with signals because the Broncos aren't huddling up now.
Going in a hurry. Pass caught on a rebound, and a flag goes down. Jackson came up with a completion.
See the official with his hat off? I bet that means he was out of bounds.
Yep.
But you can come in, if you're out of bounds, you can come in and catch a tip pass, though. See, but the hat off means that the player went out of bounds. Then he throws the flag. But what they're saying is that he can go out and then come back in. He can't come back in and be the first receiver. There he goes, he's out. Now he can come back in. Now, if that was a tip ball, he can catch it.
Well, that's exactly what they ruled after discussing things. Those Gil Mace that made the judgment.
Well, you can see the tip here. See, he can't come back in and be the original. He can come back in and catch a tip pass, and that's what happened.
Bounced off Lasker. Hand off Sewell. Blockers in front. Sewell for another Bronco first down and out of bounds at about the 28-yard line.
I'll tell you, there is some contact down there. Did you notice that sound that you hear? And this game's in stereo. So I've, being down there sideline, you can hear boom, whack, whack, ah. but I don't know what it feels like in stereo. I mean, there's a boom, 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 around the room.
Pretty much the same, I think. Even in stereo.
How does sweat look in stereo? How does a chewed mouthpiece look?
In stereo?
How does spit sound in stereo?
Loud. Denver first down as Elway gives straight ahead again to Wilhite. That play by Sewell was their first rush of the second half. Now that's the second. Banks on the stop again, but a gain of 6.
Well, what the Broncos are thinking now is they just want to get one in quickly and be able to do some onside kicking and try and pull something out here.
2nd and 4. Elway fires incomplete. Intended for Kay. He just couldn't come up with it.
I know what Bill Parcells is thinking now. You're ahead by 23 points. You really got this game. You've waited all your life for it. Now you just want everything to hurry up. Hurry up. Get this thing over and let us go to celebrating this season. Because we never could all year. After every game, someone's going to say, well, how about next week? After this one, they won't say that.
The next thing is training camp.
How about next year, Coach? Can you do it again?
3rd and 4. Here's Elway scrambling up the middle. Got the first down. Collins on the stop. Elway got 6. But the clock runs now with just over 8 minutes, and now that's the figure. 8 left. Giants 33. Denver 10. The book on Elway.
Well, he had a great first half. They had the opportunities. We talked about it. They got inside the 23 times and only came up with 7 points. 2 missed field goals, but once they were on the 1-yard line and couldn't score.
Here's the reverse again to Sewell. And again, it's Carl Banks who makes the stop. 5-yard loss.
It's funny how much we've seen Carl Banks and not Lawrence Taylor. I think maybe they're running more at Banks. Banks is more involved in the game. But I'll tell you, he is a force, that guy. And he's not in the Pro Bowl. There he goes. Now he's starting to wave that crowd on. Look at him. He was a helicopter. He thinks he is a helicopter the way he does that. He thinks he's one.
2nd and 16, back at the 20. Elway up into the pocket, now down the middle. Elway stays on his feet. He's out of bounds at about the 12. Carson knocked him out of bounds, but he got 6.
You don't think he's strong? Did you see him with his left arm? He gave Elvis Patterson, who was a strong guy, he gave him a straight arm and got by him. Well, you have to respect this guy. There's Elvis Patterson, who's still down after that straight arm by Elway. That looks like a cramp, though.
6:47 left to play. It's the Giants 33, Super Bowl 21, the Broncos 10.
They were a breed unlike any other. Never the biggest, just the toughest. Introducing a new breed of American truck, the new mid-size Dodge Dakota, roaming into full-size territory with almost as much standard payload as some full-size Ford and Chevy pickups, plus available V6 power and 8-foot bed, all for hundreds less. Dodge Dakota, full-size ability, compact agility, a lean new breed of American truck.
Peter said I could have anything I wanted. So I took his Van Heusen shirt right off his back.
Van Heusen, for a man to wear and a woman to borrow. If you're looking for a simple way to apply for the American Express card, simply pick up one of these, because now you can apply over the phone. Just call 1-800-THE-CARD.
Did I say I'd come today? Does he know I'm on the way? Are you there? Where are you? Don't you care anymore?
The Goodyear Eagle GT Plus 4 is the performance tire with all-season capabilities, and that can make all the difference in the world.
Take me home. Goodyear, Goodyear, take me home.
With a front line like this, it's a whole new ball game. Cheer up, you Monday morning quarterbacks. The season may be over, but Designing Women is taking the field next Sunday.
6:47 left in Super Bowl 21. The Giants 33, the Broncos 10. 3rd and 8. Broncos have it at the Giant 12. Up the middle is Elway again. Slides to the 10. That'll bring up a 4th down. Harry Carson there to make sure he stayed down.
Well, that's why he went down, because Harry Carson was there. Harry Carson and Banks were both standing there, and Elway had to go to the slide. Now John Karlis gets another shot at it. Rich Karlis gets another shot at it.
He's missed twice. He hit once from 48 yards out. Missed from 23 and 34. 6:12 left. Kubiak holding. Karlis hits this one. And it's 33-13. 6:01 left to play. The Broncos have all of their timeouts remaining. 33-13.
The Ninja. His strength and swiftness have become legend. Yet even the Ninja knows all things must hide from the hurricane. Hurricane Honda. It will come in the spring of the new year.
Raul, where's the package?
I have no idea. And the Air Express Company has no idea either.
Hold it! If you'd used Federal Express, you wouldn't be having this problem. Come with me. Federal tracks your package with scanners from where it's picked up to where it's delivered. Giving you its exact status within 30 minutes or your money back.
Next time, send it Federal Express. Why fool around with anyone else?
I had no idea Federal did that. Absolutely no idea.
Right now we're getting a blood pressure, and I don't know what his vital signs are. I don't know what he took.
2 minutes. No timeouts. No way to stop the clock. When you overdose, time is against you.
Her pupils are constricted, and she's not responsive to painful stimulus.
It's a desperate attempt to rally before your last breath is gone.
Nurse, let's call it. It's over.
When you play with drugs, 2 minutes can mean the difference between life and sudden death.
Denver, as John Madden was just talking about, taking the field goal to make it 33-13 now. They have everybody left of Rich Karlis for an onside kick. And the Giants handle it well. Bobby Johnson right there, the good hands guys.
Well, I think that makes sense that they did that. There's we see the buckets. Now there's a third bucket this week. I think what happened, there's always been like a mother and father. Like this is a father bucket, this is a mother bucket, and since the last game, they had a baby bucket. So this is a baby bucket. So they got 3 now. There's always been 2. One's going to go to Parcells, one's going to go to another assistant, and one will go to a player later in the game.
I guess that clears up the question as to whether they're married or not.
Well, yeah, they got married. Yeah, they got married in that baby bucket.
That's Roussan over the right side and out of bounds by Steve Wilson. That's the bucket stat.
Well, they ought to. I mean, the bucket, that's how big it is. I mean, 3rd year in the league, and then you ask questions like, is it married? Yeah, bucket's married. Bucket, you got a family bucket? Yep, got a baby bucket. And then brought the ice because we're in California. Family.
Heavy ice.
See, the baby can't sit up there with the mom and dad, though.
5:51 left to play. Roussan went out of bounds. 1st and 10 Giants. Roussan and Carthon are the 2 runners. Rousseau sneaks over the left side. Rulon Jones on the stop. 33-13. The Broncos were here once before in the Super Bowl. Lost to Dallas. The Giants have never been in a Super Bowl.
Hey, that's a tough thing on that Bronco sideline. I think the gap between winning and losing the Super Bowl is as big a gap as there is in sport. The winner is a world champion. The loser just gets thrown back in with the other 26. There's no place for number 2. No one goes right. We're number 2. We're number 2. Only number 1.
Ball's at the Denver 25. Carthon over the left side. Spins for maybe 2, maybe 1. Stopped by Jim Ryan. The Rose Bowl in Pasadena. Super Bowl 21. Over 100,000 people. And that's the situation right there. 33-13. Sims has 3 touchdown passes. The Giants have scored 24 points in the second half. It was 10-9 Denver at the half. Denver had some early chances. Couldn't capitalize. Jim Burt, Harry Carson, who will handle the bucket ceremony. Unless he's just a decoy today. 3rd and 6. 4:20 left to play. Sims with the ball. Sims down to the 10, inside the 5 to the 2. Another one of those that was not called, I'm sure. Nobody knew he was going to do that but him.
So you talk about a decoy. That time, Joe Morris was a decoy. The running back was a decoy. They started everything going to the right. Watch, they start here. Fake this thing. Phil Sims fakes, comes back and runs this way. Watch these linebackers. Watch them start this way and not even see Phil Sims. Watch, the backs go that way. Look at the linebackers run over towards Morris. And here's Sims all by himself with nothing in here. So he just runs right up in there where there's nothing in there and gets it all the way down to the 2.
And it's 1st and goal from there. Maurice Carthon and Ottis Anderson. Now the running back. Anderson, touchdown, Giants.
O.J. Anderson, he's congratulating all the linemen. He's congratulating everyone. This is his Super Bowl touchdown. Traded from the Cardinals. Really didn't play a lot, but he's going to be in the record book. Now, from now on, it turns into fun for the blue jerseys.
And you just hope it's over on the other side of the field.
On the other side, it just stays with you for a long, long time.
Allegre missed the extra point. And so the score remains 39-13 with 3:18 left to play.
Yeah, one thing about the Super Bowl, you know, the players get money, they get a ring, there's a Super Bowl trophy, and that stuff all stays with you, but just the thought that you were the best, you were the champion, is the greatest feeling. And it's big today, and it's one of those things that is big when it happens and gets bigger as the years go on.
Well, the distractions increase, the demands increase, and I think it gets tougher every year to repeat.
Well, that's going to be the next thing. I mean, I think the Giants are going to win this. They ought to be able to celebrate. I've always thought they ought to give the winning Super Bowl team a sabbatical. They don't have to play the next year. They just go around, they do parades, they do this, they do banquets. They don't have to play, and then they come back because it is tough. But that's going to be the next question when they get in the locker room. Can you repeat?
Then you're going to find out where the parade is.
They got a parade. I think it's going to be in the Giant Stadium.
At Giant Stadium, right. Bell with the return to about the 31. Knocked down by Andy Hedden. Return of 20. Again, those shots from overhead looking down at the Rose Bowl. From the darkness now, the sliced blimp.
You know, Pat, we had 3 blimps up there today. We had 3 blimps, and we had helicopters. But the blimps, it was an NFL record, Super Bowl record. World record. Yeah, no, it's a world record. There were more blimps over a football game than any game in the history of the sport today.
And that's in the record book. Here's Wilhite. 11 yards, first down, Denver. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League, is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of the telecast without the express written consent of the National Football League is prohibited. Elway, Wilhite. Giant territory to about the 47. Lawrence Taylor on the stop. Another Denver first down, a gain of 11. 2.5 minutes left to play. 39-13 Giants. Denver in the hurry up. Elway threw a grounder, stops the clock with 2:20. In the direction of Wilhite again.
This is the type of thing that I'm sure that the Bronco players are just thinking, why don't we just run it out, get this thing over with. The Giant players are probably thinking the same thing.
Probably.
I wonder what the one guy, did you see number 36, Mark Haynes, was sitting there on that Bronco bench. Of course, he was traded this year from the Giants to the Broncos. Where he is playing in the Super Bowl for the Broncos against his old teammates.
2nd and 10 outside from Elway again. Intended for Wilhite. There's Mark Haynes.
Yeah, that has to be a tough thing that you're on one team and you're playing your old teammates who you were around when they were building. They have to be all your friends, guys like Brad Benson there.
That's one of the good things about this being the last game of the season. He's got a chance for his nose to get well.
I think Carson threw a fake to the bucket. Seeing Jim Burt there, I think they're starting to plan their ceremony. Not doing it, just planning it now.
Elway up into the pocket, out of the pocket, down the middle. Pass caught by Vance Johnson, touchdown. What a heck of a catch and what a heck of a throw by Elway. Kenny Hill and Herb Welch both back there. 46-yard touchdown pass.
The Broncos thought they were going to be able to do this. They just hoped it would come a little early. You know, that ball control thing, then go for a couple scrambles and try and get a deep one later. See, Elway can buy time. He just steps up, moves to the left a little, and then he just uncorks this thing down here to Vance Johnson. There, Herb.
Ooh.
Herb Welch didn't even see that thing coming. It just went right over his shoulder.
Just heard it whistle by. Karlis for the extra point. And 47-yard touchdown pass from Elway. That makes it 39-20 with just 2 minutes and 6 seconds left to play. That tells you something, doesn't it? Tonight on CBS, the premiere of Hard Copy from the creators of Murder, She Wrote. Phil Simms has been named the game's most valuable player. And Simms gets the bucket.
Simms got the first bucket. Yeah, there was a player bucket to be decided later. Simms got it. Now, we still got 2 more buckets. I think we know one's is a Bill Parcells bucket, and I think the other one is going to be another coach's bucket. Look who goes against it. 2 offensive linemen. Bart Oates, Brad Benson, whap, on the quarterback, who's the MVP.
Again, the Broncos shoot for the onside kick, and it doesn't work. And the Giants come up with the ball. Zeke Mowatt this time. 2:03 left to play.
I don't think Simms can go in and play offense now.
Look at this.
No, he weighs like 5 pounds more. They have to put Jeff Rutledge in there. Sims said, I can't play. Ball would just slip out of my hand. I know what he's saying. He's saying it's cold.
There's Rutledge.
Well, the quarterback can't play when you get the bucket.
Plus you're cold.
Rutledge says, what a way to get in a Super Bowl. The starting quarterback gets the bucket, and I got to go play.
Rutledge was in one before when he was with the Rams.
Well, he was in one today. Remember the fourth down play
Yeah.
where he picked up the first?
Yeah.
That I think was a big, big play and a turning point in this game.
That's Tony Galbraith with the ball. Stopped by Andre Townsend. Think Bert's coming back in?
Oh, he looked like he got a bucket.
That's the first time he's been able to lift his arms all year. 39-20. The Giants lead Denver.
Look, here he comes.
There's a super party animal. His name is Spud McKenzie.
Spud McKenzie.
A real hot night and a cold Bud Light puts him in a party frenzy.
He's Spud McKenzie, Bud Light's original party animal.
That's Spuds. He is the party.
So go, Spuds, go!
It began as a simple test to see what hundreds of business people preferred. Long-distance calls made on the fiber optic lines of U.S. Sprint or calls made on AT&T's lines. Over 75% preferred the clarity of U.S. Sprint, and over 90% of them said they'd switch. That's not a test. That's a landslide. Call U.S. Sprint. We're building the first and only 100% fiber optic network clear across America.
Moo. Behold the Isuzu Pup, the lowest price truck in America. About $6. Buy a pup now and you can get 3.9% financing or 500 pounds of bananas. Why, I saved enough money to buy this island and all the fish. Penumeli, Kiki Bobo.
Hurry, 3.9% financing or $500 rebate offer ends soon.
Top-ranked Iowa faces the tough-at-home Wolverines on Michigan turf. Then Syracuse and Georgetown in their first battle this year, next Saturday on CBS Sports.
It's been the NFL on CBS, and this has been Super Bowl number 21. The Giants' year. Rutledge. Handoff to Galbraith. And the clock runs now with 1:45 left. Ricky Hundley on the stop. Carson has changed shirts and is in the security uniform now. That's the yellow jacket that security people... And there it comes.
Well, there's two kinds. There's plain water and there's the sticky stuff. And when it has color in it, it's sticky. And I'll tell you, Bill Parcells loves this one.
Rutledge just kneels. He got another one. They washed out the sticky stuff.
So, well, a Super Bowl is worth the double bucket. It really is. Look, he's saying, hey, is there any more there? You guys got any more? Now he looks at the clock. Because he's looking up there to see how long he has to stay there. He thought it was all over. And I'll tell you, he got the big one there.
Did he ever? That looked like he was going on a honeymoon somewhere with that waterfall. Carson, who's done it all year. Don't forget, stay with us. We'll go to the locker rooms of both teams. Meet the outstanding players, the most valuable player again, Phil Simms. The trophy presentation by Commissioner Rozelle. And the heartbreak in that locker room. No matter. It's been a great year in Denver. Doesn't show right now, does it?
Well, the big thing is, you know, and they're all going to say it, it's not getting to the Super Bowl, it's winning the Super Bowl and being the champion. And the difference in the feelings, I mean, the Giants are as high a thrill and as big a thrill, as emotional as you can ever get in sports. And I think the Broncos are the opposite side of that. There's
Jim Burt and his son.
You talk about a look-alike. That kid's playing nose tackle in kindergarten. He goes one-on-one. Look at the size of that guy. Look, he's going nose to nose, head to head.
Like he could wear the same jersey.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they butt each other. That's how they say good morning. They give each other a butt. The defensive coordinator in Burt, Bill Belichick. He's getting it there. He might not come out of that hug.
John Landetta's got a ball. He's going to take away with him.
Probably be practicing punting tomorrow.
The most valuable player, Phil Simms.
And on his left, Ron Earhart, who's the offensive coordinator, who did an outstanding job.
Really?
Giant offense, you know, because they had the injuries, they had all that trouble early, but got them through that so they could have that strong finish.
56 seconds remaining. Galbraith tries to get around to the outside. Rulon Jones calls the timeout. Simon Fletcher made the tackle with Rulon. That's all the timeouts for Denver. Coming up next, again, a reminder, the Super Bowl today, the post-game show, the presentation of the Vince Lombardi Trophy, interviews with the winners and losers, and all the jubilation and sadness that goes to both locker rooms. Tom Jackson, who was injured, his knee, probably his last year. He's, I think, having second thoughts about his retirement with a quarterback, John Elway.
Well, Tom Jackson is the real leader of this team. I mean, he's the guy who gives the spirit and the life and gets everyone up. And, you know, I think there he was just trying to get John Elway up. You know, and say, hey, you did what you had to.
There's Greg Lasker. Jim Burt. He looks full-grown without the pads, doesn't he? Raul Allegre with him.
Well, the Giants moved up here on Friday night, and Jim Burt was complaining to Bill Parcells, we need a weight room. You got to find us a weight room. He had to lift weights Friday and Saturday.
Leonard Marshall must have made a visit to the weight room.
Leonard just busted right out of that T-shirt. He just blew the middle out of it.
Bill Collier, who's done such a great job with this Denver defense. Fourth down. Rutledge keeps it. Rutledge is down. The Broncos will take over. Stopped by Rulon Jones. Clock will stop on that change of possession with 44 seconds remaining.
Yeah, Big Leonard, he just did blow part of that thing. It just blew right out of the T-shirt.
In the Giant locker room, waiting, the president of the Giants, Wellington Mara, there to accept the trophy and the accolades that go with this Super Bowl championship. It's been a long time. Kubiak is the quarterback now. They always threw. Kubiak, middle. Broncos out of timeouts. Wentz Sampson made the catch. Clock continues to run, a gain of 8. There are a lot of people who deserve a lot of credit on both these teams. Wellington Mara, you saw, the Broncos and their organization, Tim Mara, Bill Parcells, George Young, the whole group, Dan Reeves.
What was that one? I didn't hear that one.
I didn't either. 12 men on the field, I think.
Well, they all want to get on just to be on the field, you know, to play, get on the field. Landetta may run in there and play defense. You know, other guys like George Martin and Harry Carson, guys that have been around there, Brad Benson, a long time, been through the bad years, to go through that, stick with it, and come up to today has to be a special day for everyone. But for those guys, I think it really means something. More, bigger.
I think, John, when you go back and look, as we have an opportunity maybe to sort of reflect on the early part of the game, the Broncos got there and didn't get the points. I think that has to be something that they'll be thinking about a long time.
Well, that was a big part of this thing, and then that halftime. I mean, the way the Giants went in and came out in the second half and just dominated and took over that game in the third quarter. And then with this defense, this great Giant defense, when they get ahead, boy, they just smother you. They make you play uphill, and they're just playing downhill on you and knocking you out. Next thing they're trying to figure out there is who's going to carry the coach off. See, they're planning. Brad Benson was back there planning. Yeah, we know Jim Burt won't. He already has something to carry off there.
Here's Kubiak out of the pocket. And Sampson scampers out of bounds, stops the clock, a gain of 11. Broncos keep hanging on and hanging in.
The fans are booing that one. They want the game to be over and the celebrating to start.
I'm amazed as you look around the Rose Bowl, nobody's left. The place is still full.
I tell you, this is a great place for a football game. And you know, and the weather's nice, and it's a nice day, and, you know, you're enjoying, and it's a happening, and you're there, and, you know, to go there and not see it to its finish, you know, doesn't make any sense either. This place is going to be packed. Getting out, you can't get out anyway.
Yeah, you might as well stay, I guess. Kubiak down by Dorsey. And Pepper Johnson. And Eric Howard. And Parcells is up on the shoulders of the offensive lineman.
He's saying, not yet. It's okay, Bill. It's okay. You got it.
Feel, John?
I'll tell you, he feels great. This is as good as it gets. Doesn't get any better than this. And the great thing about it, it lasts forever. It's not something that's not there tomorrow.
You can never take it away.
Well, they have a net, you know, that's a stomp and grind.
Pepper Johnson and William Roberts.
And they have a name. And go right in the middle of the field and do it. You know, they say it's business. They talk about, you know, this and that, the business, the agents, and it's great. When you're out there and this is happening, it's a game. And it's fun, and it's playing, and it's kids.
It's grown kids. McConkey, who got his cherished touchdown.
They never wanted to end. Now, if I had a rubber guy, I'd just stay out in the field. I wouldn't get on. That's what Phil McConkey is thinking. I want to stay out here.
Rutledge with a football under his arm, and that, as you said, was indeed a key play. Wellington Mara in the middle of the team. Parcells. Well, John Madden and I would simply like to say we enjoyed it, and thank you. Final score. The Giants 39, the Broncos 10. Stay tuned for the post-game show and the presentation of the Vince Lombardi Trophy. Also interviews with the losing and winning team. That's all coming up on the post-game show. CBS Sports coverage of Super Bowl number 21 will continue after this message and a word from your local station.
Nobody has lower fares than United to more cities across this land. North to south, east to west, only United has low fares to all 50 states.
You're not just flying, you're flying friendly skies.
Pay up, buy one, New York Giants Super Bowl champs.
I got another shirt, Bill.
Shoot.
Hard copy. It's a winner.
Next.
This is CBS.
How much longer till we get there?
About 20 minutes.
Anti-lock brakes, internationally patented suspension, uncanny control. Conventional luxury sedans are built to survive accidents. The BMW 528e is built to avoid them.
Let's see if they're okay.
Remember the days when your yellow pages covered only St. Pete, Clearwater, or Tarpon Springs? You shopped with blinders on and missed some of the best businesses in the county. But now you can shop the whole county using one Yellow Pages full of coupons and information you've never seen in your Yellow Pages before. Use your new Pinellas County Yellow Pages and put your old Yellow Pages out to pasture.
Now this is where Publix makes the ice cream.
Where are the cows? They don't have cows anymore. Where does the milk come from? It comes from Publix.
The Publix Dairy. That's where the quality comes from.
Moo. Behold the Isuzu Pup, the lowest price truck in America. About $6. Buy a pup now and you can get 3.9% financing or 500 pounds of bananas. Why, I saved enough money to buy this island and all the fish. Fenumeli, Kiki Bobo.
Hurry, 3.9% financing or $500 rebate offer ends soon.
America crowns its football champion on Night Beat.
CBS Sports coverage of the Super Bowl 21 post-game show is sponsored by the 1987 German-engineered Volkswagens and your Volkswagen dealers. U.S. Sprint, where every fiber optic call will sound like you're right next door. And by IBM.
The celebration going on now surrounding Jim Burt as he attempts to rejoin his teammates down here in the victorious locker room area. And now it is time to present the Vince Lombardi Trophy for this great season-end performance, not only by Burt, but the entire New York Giant football team. And with me is the Commissioner of Football, Pete Rozelle, and one of the co-owners of the New York Giants, Wellington Mara, and their outstanding coach, Bill Parcells. Commissioner, you make the presentation.
Well, I'm very pleased to congratulate Wellington Mara, the president of the Giants, and also the president of the National Football Conference. Well, your father, Timothy J. Mara, founded the Giants in 1925. In that first season, you were a 9-year-old ball boy. And ever since that time, I think the Giants have been both the business and the love of the Mara family. Bill, all I can say is I'm sure you will reject it, but you're this year's NFL Genius coach. President Reagan has been watching, and he asked me to advise you that at your convenience, he'd like to have the whole Giant squad at the White House. Well, congratulations.
Wellington, your thoughts now.
Well, Brent, 2 weeks ago, I told Virginia McCaskey that if there were words to express my opinion, I didn't know them yet. And I'm not any smarter today than I was then. But I'm very proud to represent the great bunch of men, our coaches and our players. And I'm very happy to accept this in their behalf in recognition of the effort and the achievement that they accomplished by their effort this year. Bill, take it away.
Coach. Great moment for you, Bill, and I have to harken back to the third quarter. It was 4th and 1 at midfield. There are a lot of coaches who would have said, let's punt it. I've got a great punter and a tremendous defense. You decided to gamble at that moment in this game. Tell me about it.
Well, it was about 2 feet, and it's something we've had all year, Brent. And, you know, you're trying to win the game. This is for the World Championship, and, you know, it's not for faint-hearted people, so you got to take your shot. And, you know, it just paid off. I have a lot of confidence in our guys. When I challenge them with that kind of call, they try to make the play. They made every one of them we tried this year.
Phil, did you do anything differently when you saw that Phil Simms had such a hot hand here today?
No, but I just like to say that I think that ought to dispel any myth about Phil Simms, because I'll tell you, he was absolutely magnificent today.
Probably
Absolutely.
the best game played in a Super Bowl a long time by a quarterback. You'd have to hearken back to the performances of a Terry Bradshaw.
Well, that might be the best game the quarterback's played, and you might count all the games for this year.
Now, coaches have had so much trouble repeating, coming back again. I hate to yank you into the future, but what will you tell this group of athletes to try to keep their mind focused in on winning again?
My guys got a good work ethic. They're dependable. They're reliable people. And I think the challenge will be to, you know, to see what we can do and maybe separate ourselves from some of those other great teams. If we can come back and keep competing the way we have, you know, I think we'll be competitive for a while.
Congratulations, Coach. You did a magnificent job.
Thank you, Brian.
All right. And our Super Bowl today, post-game festivities will continue from the New York Giant locker room in just a moment.
McDonald's presents Double Features.
I don't know how to say this.
It was a time they'd never forget.
I'm starving.
It was dinner time. Time for McDonald's Double Features. McDonald's Double Cheeseburger. It's big, it's beefy, it's back. And introducing double fries. Crisp, golden, double the regular size.
I wish this could go on forever.
It won't. It's only available for a limited time. Don't miss it. McDonald's Double Features.
In the year 4 million BC, man took a giant step. He got up off all fours. And now, after millions of years of evolution, man has discovered he's better off on all fours in a Vanagon Synchro.
Dad?
Julie, look at your hay fever.
Well, she hasn't had a sniffle all day. And they're ready to dance all night.
Thanks to research by Dow's pharmaceutical subsidiary, millions like Julie may now find relief from allergies without the drowsiness often associated with allergy treatments.
You can make a difference in what tomorrow brings.
Save me a dance.
'Cause Dow lets you do great things.
At first, IBM electric typewriters made typing easier. Then we improved the way typing looked and revolutionized its touch and feel. IBM even fixed the way errors got fixed. Today, IBM wheel writers and quiet writers do things our old typewriters never dreamed of. They're faster, quieter. They have memory and can even signal mistakes as you make them. The typewriters secretaries like best just get better and better.
Had 2 tickets for today's game, right on the 50-yard line. But I sold them. You're probably saying, what a jerk. But guess what I got with the money? A Volkswagen Golf.
The video diary of Tony Galbraith continues here in the Giants locker room. The man who made it work, Phil Simms. He's with Irv Cross. Let's go to Irv.
You know, Brent, Phil Simms threw 11 consecutive receptions, setting a Super Bowl record. Of course, you did everything well, Phil, your MVP. Did you feel like you could have gone 100% today?
Yeah, I did. I just felt like when we were warming up, I just told everybody, I said, I got it today. You know, I was throwing the ball real well. And, you know, we had a lot to prove our offense coming in here because people didn't say anything about us all week. And I think everybody thought our receivers couldn't be a part of this game. And we had something to prove, and we talked about it all week. We were going to come out of here running, and we were just going to see if they could cover us. And the receivers, everything, the game plan was terrific. It really was.
Well, what was the difference in the first half and the second half? Of course, you guys didn't score against the ball in the first time we played them in New York, but you were a completely different team in the second half.
Well, today in the second half, you know, in the first half we moved it every time. I just had a breakdown a couple times and just missed completing big passes. And, you know, we stayed with the same stuff, and we just got it going, and we hit a few big plays. And, you know, sometimes you get it going in this league, it's hard to stop it, and that's the way we were today.
Congratulations, Phil. Super Bowl 21's most valuable player, Phil Simms. Brent.
All right, Irv, the other co-owner of the Giants and a man who was instrumental in helping bring George Young to the franchise is Tim Merritt. Tim, you had to turn this group around. There were some lean times. Your reflections.
You're right, Brent, and I'd like to take this opportunity on behalf of my mother and my sister and myself to congratulate the players, to congratulate the assistant coaches, and to congratulate the greatest head coach the Giants have had in my lifetime, Bill Parcells, and to thank this man right over here, George Young, because if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have done this today. And I'm very happy for all our fans because they deserve it. Thank you, Fred.
David, thank you. George, your feelings now. This is such a great moment for you. You helped put this team together.
Well, Brent, I'm so happy for both sides of the Marrow family because they gave me the support to try to help Bill Parcells do the wonderful job he's done and how well the players have done. We have great players and great support from the owners. What else can you say? And I'm very happy, really, to see the happy faces of the Giant fans because they've supported us so much for so long.
Well, George and Tim, I don't want to sensationalize the point, but nor do I want to leave without referring to it. And that's the fact that Wellington and Tim do not get along, but the fact remains. They kept the focus on winning football games. They got the job done this year, and they deserve to be acclaimed for that. We will continue with the Super Bowl Today postgame show in just a moment. Thank you.
This is CBS.
It's official. The great Nissan countdown is on. An all-out drive to set new sales records in just 14 days. Let's go south.
The crowds, the cars, there's real excitement with 18 Nissan cars sticker priced under $10,000.
To the east.
It's an all-out sellout from sports cars to stylish family cars like Stanza. The savings are fantastic.
Out west, everything's selling fast, especially Maxima. Motor Trend called it the best luxury sedan in the world for the price.
Bottom line, it's the best time ever to buy Nissan during the great Nissan countdown.
All right, everybody, we're ready. Go ahead, sis.
Imagine that electric light. It's amazing.
That's only the beginning, Mom. Why, someday electricity will warm the house and cool it, too, Mom.
Shaw, is that what they're teaching you in college?
Really, Mom? And it'll heat your water and wash your clothes.
Fancy.
And dry them, too, Mom. And maybe even do your dishes.
That boy, he sure is a dreamer.
Electricity. It's made a lot of dreams come true.
The other side of the story. Denver coach Dan Reeves is with my colleague Will McDonough in the Bronco locker room. Let's go to Will.
Brent, thanks very much. Dan, it looks like he had a great opportunity in that first half to put this ball game away.
Well, Will, first of all, I'd like to congratulate the Marrows. George Young, Bill Parcells, the entire coaching staff, and a great football team, for winning.